Marcus Reed stood at the threshold of Westbrook Correctional Facility, feeling the weight of 1,000 unspoken words enveloping him. The corridors were alive with a cacophony, clanging metal doors, shouted commands, and the shuffle of feet. But beneath that raucous facade lay a deafening silence, one that gnawed at the edges of his sanity. Each day melded into the next, a relentless cycle of monotony where hope grew dimmer. He was not just trapped within these walls. He was entangled in an oppressive stillness that crept beneath his skin. Memories of sun-drenched afternoons spent with his daughter Emma flickered in his mind, moments of laughter now haunting echoes amidst the grim reality he faced. Stripped of freedom, Marcus yearned for connection, for a way to break through this vast emptiness, a desperate plea for a voice that could reach beyond the confines of his bleak existence. Marcus's mind drifted back to moments spent with Emma, where sunlight streamed through their living room windows, illuminating her laughter and curiosity. He remembered teaching her how to read, her determination to master each letter reflecting his own passion for education. Those sunlit days felt worlds away from his current reality, where darkness encroached upon hope. With each flashback, he felt the weight of his absence crushing him, knowing she was growing up without him. The guilt seared into him like a brand as he imagined her small face looking up with concern, feeling the void he had left. Yet even amidst this ache, a flicker of determination sparked within him. He couldn't continue to be just a ghost haunting her life. He resolved then and there to find a way to emerge from this silence and reconnect with the vibrant world he lost. As Marcus clung to that flicker of determination, the reality of his surroundings began to crystallize. He needed to navigate this treacherous environment, where alliances were fragile and danger lurked in every corner. An understanding settled in. Survival here meant more than physical endurance. It required astute awareness of the prison's unwritten rules, the hierarchy of power, the alliances formed and broken. He observed the prominent inmates, each commanding respect and fear in equal measure, and he realized that to thrive, he would need to secure his own place within this precarious social structure. Drawing on his skills and instincts, he charted a course through the complexities of prison life, recognizing that redemption was not only possible, it was necessary. Confronting the realities of this harsh existence ignited a resolve within him, a commitment to find his footing and restore a sense of purpose amidst the tumult. As Marcus settled into this new mindset, he caught sight of Jax, a street-smart inmate whose eyes reflected a wisdom born from years on the streets. Their first exchange felt electric. Sharing snippets about their lives, each story unveiled layers of shared pain and resilience. Jax spoke of his turbulent youth, highlighting the choices that had led to his arrival at Westbrook, while Marcus responded with fragments of his own lost dreams and regrets. With each revelation, an unexpected camaraderie emerged, a connection forged from mutual understanding. In this bleak environment, Jax became more than just another inmate. He was a potential ally, someone whose path intertwined with Marcus's. This budding friendship breathed life into Marcus's intentions, igniting a hope that perhaps amid the chaos, he could find not just survival, but also the courage to transform his reality. Together, they might begin to dismantle the silence that sought to suffocate them. As the sun rose over the yard, an ear-splitting shriek sliced through the air, jolting Marcus from his thoughts. Chaos erupted around him, inmates scattering like leaves caught in a tempest. The tension had finally broken. As fists flew and shouts filled the space, Marcus felt a primal instinct awaken within him, an urge to retaliate, to defend himself. The sounds of violence felt achingly familiar, echoing memories he tried to escape. Heart pounding in his chest, he grappled with the escalating turmoil outside as desperation clawed at him. Each swing and shout intensified the internal battle he faced. Was he destined to succumb to the beast that once thrived within him? He knew then that he had to rise above this chaos, not just for his safety, but for the hope of reclaiming who he truly was. The urgency for change became clear. It was time to forge a new path. Driven by a newfound resolve, Marcus felt the ember of purpose reignite within him. The chaos of the yard had shown him the veiled vulnerability of his fellow inmates, many of whom bore the weight of untold stories and unfulfilled dreams. He envisioned creating a space where they could share, learn, and grow. Drawing on his past as an educator, Marcus made a bold decision. He would start a literacy class. This endeavor was not merely about teaching. It was a way to break the silence that suffocated them all, a chance to transform despair into hope. As he gathered a small group of inmates eager for knowledge, Marcus felt a sense of clarity wash over him. Through education, he could begin to forge connections and rebuild his own shattered sense of self. With each meeting, he embraced the idea that change was within reach, igniting a collective journey toward redemption and understanding. As Marcus delved into teaching, he encountered a tapestry of lives woven from threads of sorrow and aspiration. Each inmate captured within the classroom brought a unique narrative, stories of mistakes, regrets, and fragile hopes for a brighter future. The harsh realities of their surroundings contrasted with the flickers of humanity he began to witness, illuminating the inherent complexities that lay behind every hardened exterior. He soon recognized that education was not just a means to acquire skills, but a powerful tool for healing and connection. Marcus listened intently to their stories, which resonated deeply within him, reigniting his empathy in a place where it was easy to lose oneself. These moments fostered a profound understanding, marking the beginning of a communal journey that transcended the desperation of their confinement. In the robust exchange of knowledge, hope began to take root, and Marcus found strength in the shared experience of redemption. As Marcus poured his heart into teaching, a sudden wave of dread washed over him. He received a letter from Emma, its contents striking him like a physical blow. He could almost hear her small voice echoing through the prison walls, filled with confusion and sadness, relaying her struggles to cope with his absence. Each word etched deeper guilt into his conscience, amplifying the ache of knowing she faced life without him by her side. Yet amidst the turmoil, her words became a rallying cry, igniting Marcus's determination to change. He realized that he held the power to rewrite their narrative, to reclaim his role as her father, to prove he was more than his past mistakes. With renewed urgency, he vowed to transform his imprisonment into a journey of redemption, one that would ultimately bridge the distance between them. The path forward felt clearer than ever. As the atmosphere shifted in the prison, Marcus found himself facing Earl, a quiet inmate whose presence often went unnoticed amid the prison's loud chaos. Earl's past was marred by decisions steeped in violence, yet there lay an unassuming depth behind his eyes. As they engaged in conversation, the weight of unspoken choices became palpable. Marcus listened intently as Earl shared his story, one of desperation, complexities, and the roads that led each of them to this place. Each exchange revealed the fragile threads that connected them, emphasizing their shared humanity, even in conditions that sought to strip it away. This connection illuminated Marcus's understanding of redemption. It was a path laden with choices, reflections, and heartfelt confessions. Little did he know, this budding bond would challenge his views on forgiveness and the possibility of change in an environment designed to stifle hope. As Marcus began to grasp the depth of his new connections, the tension within Westbrook Correctional Facility escalated. Whispers of an impending lockdown circulated among inmates, sparking anxiety and uncertainty. Marcus felt the unease ripple through the air, recognizing that the fragile sense of community he'd built could shatter at any moment. With uncertainty looming, he prepared to confront his fears of escalating violence and the potential loss of the hope he had begun to cultivate. He understood that change often emerges from chaos, and amid whispers of unrest, his resolve would be tested. Inspired by his experiences with Jax and Earl, Marcus contemplated ways to channel their collective frustrations into a unified response. The time for action was drawing near, and he felt a stirring within him, an undeniable urge to stand not just for his presence, but for the humanity of all who shared this space. As the looming threat of lockdown settled heavy upon them, Marcus exchanged a tense glance with Jax. In that moment, unspoken words flowed between them, a mutual understanding igniting a spark of rebellion. They shared a vision, to transform their anxiety into action, to rise above the oppressive atmosphere surrounding them. Fueled by their newfound camaraderie, they devised a plan, a small act of defiance that would resonate far beyond the imposing walls of Westbrook. The idea was simple yet powerful, a peaceful protest to advocate for humane treatment and respect. They rallied the other inmates, uniting voices that had long been silenced. The plan wasn't without risk, but it became a beacon of hope, illuminating their collective yearning for dignity. Together, they stood on the precipice of change, ready to make their stand, bridging connections forged in struggle and aspiration for a better future. As echoes of their protest reverberated through the facility, Marcus felt a surge of empowerment embolden him. The aftermath of their stand ignited conversations within the inmate community, each voice adding to the growing dialogue about dignity and respect. Despite the management's indifference, Marcus discovered an undeniable shift, a realization that something remarkable was unfolding. His influence began to blossom, a realization that he could be a catalyst for transformation in a place often defined by despair. This newfound purpose began to reshape his identity, replacing fragments of guilt and remorse with a sense of agency. Marcus understood that redemption was not a singular event, but a series of choices leading toward a future he could influence. With each step he took in this uncharted territory, he envisioned a path paved with hope, where silence transformed into a chorus of change. In that moment, he embraced the power of his voice, determined to foster a new beginning for himself and those around him. As Marcus continued to immerse himself in the lives of his fellow inmates, he engaged in deeper conversations with Earl and others, each exchange marking a significant growth in his understanding of forgiveness. Earl's story unfolded like a tapestry, revealing the complexities of choices made in moments of desperation. In these dialogues, Marcus began to confront his own turbulent past, haunted by the memories of loss that had shaped him, particularly the void left by his best friend's untimely death. He pondered the often elusive nature of atonement. Could forgiveness mend fractured bonds, or was it merely a concept beyond reach? Each interaction amplified his resolve to reconcile the pieces of his story, nurturing a burgeoning belief that healing, both for himself and those around him, could be found even in the unlikeliest of circumstances. Ultimately, Marcus realized that embracing vulnerability was the cornerstone of true redemption. With the weight of his recent conversations heavy on his mind, Marcus sat down to write another letter to Emma. He poured his heart into every word, expressing not just his longing for her, but a vow to emerge from the prison transformed. He wrote of the lessons he was learning, not just about literature, but about resilience and connection. Each sentence became a promise, a commitment to reconcile their relationship, reclaim his role as her father. He envisioned their reunion filled with laughter and light, a far cry from the silence that currently enveloped him. As he sealed the letter, a sense of hope washed over him. He realized that through these words, he was reclaiming his voice, and with it, the possibility of building a future together. The journey ahead felt daunting, but he was determined to carry this newfound strength into the world waiting beyond these walls. As Marcus reflected on his heartfelt letter to Emma, thoughts of freedom surged within him, reshaping how he saw his confinement. No longer just a prison, Westbrook became a crucible for transformation, where self-discovery flourished amidst the most oppressive circumstances. Each connection he forged with fellow inmates unveiled untold narratives, opening doors to understanding not just their struggles, but his own. Marcus began to grasp that this experience, steeped in regret and pain, was also rich with opportunity. Purpose emerged from desolation. Each class he taught and each conversation shared chipped away at the isolation that had long defined his existence. A profound sense of responsibility settled over him, not just to change for his daughter, but for all who yearned for redemption. It was in this realization that Marcus understood. True freedom was not merely a return to the outside world, but rather a journey towards self-realization and meaningful connection.